Dear Thai, dear Sangha, today is 24th of November, year 2016, and we are in the Mindfulness Day for lay practitioners in Upper Hamlet. And I just invited Thai to sit with me and to sit with us here this morning. In the last Sunday, we have studied with Sister Tư Nghiêm about the right view. And this morning, I would like to go in to share some stories or experiences about the practice of right view. How do we apply the practice of right view in our daily life? And how can the right view can help us to either cultivate joy and happiness in our life, and also to help to transform our suffering. First, I really want to say thank you to all of you that been so wholeheartedly in the practice, and especially being so attentive to whatever we have learned here together as a Sangha. And I would like to say that English is not my mother language, so for sure sometimes I will say something clumsy. Thank you for your acceptance and being very generous for me this morning. I would like to tell you a story that just happened for me maybe a week or 10 days ago. It's challenged my practice a lot, because when we start the 3 months winter retreat, the monastic brothers and sisters, we have some of us, or many of us, we would like to make some vows. We would like to make some very concrete practices, and to do it in the 3 months. We do it before the ceremony of face-to-face taking refuge, and I do the same. And one of my aspiration, one of my vow to practice this 3 months is to be a happy nun. Being a happy nun, I cannot say all the time, but I want to say most of the time it's not something easy at all. So when I made this vow, I really want to practice dwelling happily in the present moment. That I don't want me to be dragged by whatever, by worries or plans or whatever. And at the first day, it's already challenged me a lot. It's really on the first day of these 3 months. One of my younger sister, she had misunderstood me for something, and because of some reason, maybe scared of me or something, I don't know, she didn't came directly to me to share, but she tried to tell that misunderstanding with another sister. And when I heard about this, I feel so hurt, because I thought that I have good relationship with my younger sister who tell the story. I thought that we are good friends. We can talk to each other. We can share with each other for many things in the Sangha. And how she, how she talked about me with another person in the way that is not nourishing at all, and I feel so sad. And for 1 day, I just kept myself to try to know what exactly she tried to tell another sister about me, and I just, my mind is just running around to try to understand clearly. I want to know what you think about me. I want to know that how unnourishing, how unbeautifully it is. She talked about me, and on that day I didn't smile at all. And even I could not look at the sisters' faces, and I just walked like this. Go to the meditation hall, go to the dining hall, and I didn't recognize that I was caught in the idea that I want to know clearly about what is happening at the back of me. You understand that? Huh? You understand that feeling? Until very late at night on that day. And I was too tired with that kind of sadness and that kind of feeling in me. Even I breathe, I walk slower, I was very serious in the practice. But because the mindfulness, the energy of mindfulness is not strong enough to really stop myself by the need to find out, something that I didn't know clearly. And until when I finished dinner, and we have about an hour before the evening activity. This evening, we have mentor-mentee. And before the mentor-mentee, I was very tired, and I lie down on my bed. And when I was lie down on my bed and cover the blanket, and I thought that I will go to sleep a little bit, and I put my alarm to wake up on time for next activity. And right after time that I lying down on my bed, I felt that my body is so tense, and my mind is so tired with wondering, with the suspicion about my sisters. And suddenly at that time, I recognized that such a wrong view to try to understand the suffering of myself and others. Meanwhile, I am not enough happiness at that time. And I recognized that I didn't have enough mindfulness, enough energy of mindfulness, of happiness, of intolerance in here. Then I tried to understand more about the difficulties, the sufferings, the suspicions, these things are running around in the Sangha. And I didn't protect myself well, from being dragged by these things. So at the moment, I recognized that I didn't protect myself enough, and I didn't accept my limit. I thought that I have enough happiness to encounter, these kind of suffering in that moment. And at the time that I recognize I have that wrong view, I feel very light inside. That I felt that I didn't need to find out what she really talked to another sister about me. And I recognize that she suffered also. She suffered also because she thought that I have done something not so good for my younger sisters, and she want to protect them. And when I recognized that I was going around too much in my thinking, then I feel so light, and right away I can sleep for like 15 or 20 minutes. And when I woke up, I see something very new in me, something that I can accept. But still, I cannot look at her face for some more days. And some days ago, she came to me. Yeah, she feel that energy from me. She came to me and asked, "Sister, are you sad? Something about me?" So now I can look at her, look at her eyes, and I smile and say yes. And she felt so like a bit scary. I say yes, but I'm practicing. Please give me some more time and stay. Whenever I'm free, I tell you. And it's okay now. We can look at each other, and then talk to each other. But then I see that is a process. The process of practicing, of training myself to see really clearly what is happening in here, and accept myself as I am. And about this, I see that thanks to the practice of mindfulness that we have practiced together for a long time. Every day, when I wake up, I really sit on my bed, with cross-legs, a little bit sleepy sometimes like this. But then with the breathing, I try to sit up and smile. And start to make a new vow for the new day. And one of the vow I do every day is I would like to live today wholeheartedly, and with this love and compassion and understanding in my heart, I would like to send to our teacher Thầy, so that he can recover, he can speak again and walk again. That's one of my vows I did every morning. And also every night before sleeping, I also do meditate for just a minute or some minutes on my bed. And I do the same thing. And what I recognize is that thanks to the practice of meditation, of mindfulness every day, then when I lie down on my bed on that night, the habit of being mindful, the habit of being come back to our body and mind, remind me which situation that I was in, and that situation is that I haven't accepted my limit yet. Then I recognize that I was running after the suspicion, the sadness, the anger in me. So we come here to practice all together, to practice the path, and this is for me. This is really practical for us to do it together. When we talk about the right view, it is I repeat this from last Dharma talk, that first of all, right view is the deep understanding about the Four Noble Truths that you already write down, right? And today I would like to share about the fourth truth, that is the path. That right view is deep understanding about the path. And the path is we are practicing, we are walking on together every day. And how can we know that it is the right path? Huh? How can we believe that it is the right path for each of us? The Buddha said that when we practice right view, we give rise to the confidence about the path. That our faith about the path will be deepened. And the true path always begins with the process of the 3 learnings that I'm going to write down on the board. And the first learning is the listening. When we come here, we listen to the Dharma talk, or we have conversation with our spiritual friends. We have Dharma sharing, or we chant sutras, or read textbook, etc. This is the different kinds of listening. That when we first come to the Dharma, we train ourselves to receive this kind of teaching. And for some of us, we have a tendency to compare whatever we have known already in the past with whatever we are listening right now. Okay, this is good. This brother, good. Or that sister sharing, it's okay. So we keep comparing all the time in our head. And by that way, we do not learn a lot because we already have our knowledge in the past. And the teaching of listening is something that we do not want to accumulate knowledge. We do not want to judge or compare. We like to open up ourselves to the Dharma. We like to prepare ourselves ready for something new and try to do it. Just like when there's a rain, our Mother Earth has opened herself to receive. And each different kinds of trees, they receive differently the rain. And just like our mind is just like that. We receive the Dharma, and sometimes they call the Dharma rain. That's the meaning. We open up ourselves to receive and let it there. The right views is also the seed, the good seeds in our consciousness. That when we listen to the beauty, the goodness, that these seeds being water all the time in our mind. And while we listen, we do not try not to judge, not to compare, and also not to try not to make it become something that we want to fight to, like we want to debase inside while we're listening. And how can we practice listening? Because when you come here, you listen to the brothers and sisters or even our friends sharing a lot about deep listening, right? always we say, oh, we practice deep listening, we practice loving speech. But I want to ask you, how can you practice deep listening? And where does it start? Where does it begin? In the last summer, in my Dharma sharing group, there's a Spanish woman. She came to me and she asked, "Sister, you tell us, the Dharma talk this morning, the sister tell us to practice deep listening, but how can I do it? I don't know how to. I listened to my son, but I just listened for like one sentence of him and I became very angry. How can I practice deep listening? Listening without judging, without reacting." And when she talked to me, I felt her suffering. And also I felt her wish to practice, to really re-establish the communication with her son. And when we have Dharma sharing, I raise this question for the whole group of my family. And I invite them to practice with me. And this is the exercise that I propose for myself to do it for my own. Not from Thai or from other, I don't know. My brothers or sister, how they practice deep listening. But for me, this is what I have done that I share with you. The first step is I train myself to listen to the beautiful and nourishing sounds, just like the bird song, the music, the wind, the tide, or the children laugh. And when I do like this, I come back to my breathing and just listen to this song. And you see, it's very easily for us to have no judgment when you listen to the bird song. You just enjoy it, and you will feel our body is filled with the beauty of the nature, right? And our thinking is easily to be stopped, and also our body is easily to feel relaxed and nourished. First of all, I train myself to listen to the beauty, all kind of beauties, and really enjoy it. And the second step I let myself to listen to the good, the truth from people. Sometimes we are very sensitive to the story which is not so nourished, and I always tease my younger sister that when you listen to a joke, you remember it very quickly. But when you listen to the sutra, you always tell me that, oh, I cannot remember. Because in last year, I have the class on the basic Buddhism, the heart of the Buddha teaching, with the novices and Shishramana in Lower Hamlet. And I am a strict teacher. And I asked them to study quite a lot, especially learning by heart some Buddhism terms. And they just claim all the time that I cannot remember, it's too hard. But then when they make joke on each other, or some sentences that which is, I don't know, but then they remember very quickly. And I asked them why. This is I train myself. Sometimes that I close up myself to something not so nourishing, just to try or to see how I react to those things. And the second step that I want to make is this, and the third is the third is we want to make ourselves to listen to all kinds of conversation which are not related to ourselves, to me, to you. And in that Dharma sharing family, in that summer, I asked them to do this exercise. We sit in the circle, and I asked two volunteers to get into the circle, inside of the circle, close their eyes, and then the whole circle started to talk to each other very loud. And we talk to each other in every kind of topics, but not about them. Then these two people inside a circle, I asked them to practice breathing, close their eyes and breathe in and listen. All kinds of these talking. And for sure that they understand English. And they understand everything that we are talking to each other, but not about them. And follow their feelings. I ask them to also to follow whatever happened inside of their mind, what they think about these conversations around them. And the fourth is listen to And the fourth step is listen to the conversation about us. And I do the same for the exercise for that Dharma sharing group that I ask the Spanish woman who asked the question to sit in the circle. And I asked some of her friends in the circle to talk something about her, something that is beautiful, and also something that not so beautiful about her. And I asked them to just to do it because we do exercise. We are training our listening, and they start to talk about her, and we in the circle we observe her attitude, and also I asked her to observe her feeling, her mind when she listened to someone who is talking about something about her. And it's very helpful afterward that she shared that she know how to be calm when she listened to someone that saying something not so good about her. And the very important thing here is a practice of mindful breathing and smiling. I ask the friends that whenever we listen to someone, but we lose our concentration on our breathing, that it's better if you try to stop listening, come back to ourselves, and establish ourselves again in mindfulness. And for listen to the Dharma talk, to the sharing, to the experiences that from our friends, we do this thing. We do these 2 steps first. And here in Plum Village, we have many opportunities to practice deep listening. And now I'm going to invite all of us to listen to the sound of the bell and try to do whatever I suggest here. Just try, huh? We can close our eyes and support ourselves, support our practice by the way to put 1 hand or 2 hands on our abdomen. And breathe. And when the bell is going to sound, we follow the sound from its very beginning until its very, very end. Breathing and listening. Thank you. I would like to ask you, is there any of you recognize while we are listening, there's a thought comes up? Please raise your hand. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. That we practice very well already. We don't try to suppress our thinking, but we just recognize. If you can be able to call the name, that is better. Any of you know what it is? You can call it real name. What is that? Can you tell us? And you? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Whatever it is, if we call the name of our thought, our thinking, and let it be, and then come back again with our breathing, release it and come back again. And this is a process of training. And Thầy always remind us that if we are a good friend, if we are a good spiritual friend, we can be able to help our friends to realize, to recognize the seeds of right view in them. It means that to have our friend to practice along with us, to encourage them to find out the teacher inside of them. And in order to do that, we can do that for ourselves first. That we really know how to train ourselves and want to do it. And when we listen to the teachings, we make sure that we have clear understanding about the teaching and have the wish to put it into practice. And that is the second learning is reflecting. When we come here, we listen to like a lot of teaching, and you will see that which teaching is appropriate to you, with your own experiences, with your own suffering, your own insight, that we will choose which concrete practices that have you, that appropriate to you at that time, and try to put it into practice. And also, this is also a tendency for practitioners that some of us would like to master the teaching. We want to know very clearly, profoundly about either the 5 mindfulness training or 14 mindfulness training to share with our other friends. But for us, we don't really try to put it into practice. That's something we are not encouraged to do. Of course, we try to learn the teaching, but then from time to time, we also should nourish the wish to put them into practice, to try to put them into practice. And this is the Buddha taught to the group of young men. When this group of young men came to him and asked him that, how can they believe to the teaching from many well-known teachers? Because every of them told them that my teachings is the best. Then how can we believe and follow? Which teacher can we believe? And the Buddha told the young man that do not follow to any teaching, even though it was given by a well-known teacher, but with your own experiences, with your own insight, that you see it's appropriate to you, then believe in it and put it into practice. And we do the same here. Huh? We have no pressure about the practice. We choose, there is many practices in Plum Village, and if you see that you like some of them, or even one of them, try to put it into practice. And if you do not very clear about that, please do not hesitate to ask your friends or brothers and sisters. I remember one time Thầy taught the monastic Sangha that if they lay people come to Plum Village for 1 week and he or she doesn't master the practice of mindful breathing, then the fault is belong to the monastic brother and sister. And when I heard that, I said, well, if they don't want to practice, how can they say that you monastic brothers and sisters, you have the responsibility to make our lay people, our lay friends who come here even 1 week, master at least the practice of mindful breathing. So from that day, when I give orientation for new friends, I keep asking questions. Do you know very clearly about the practice of mindful breathing? I keep asking that question. Maybe they don't know why. And sometimes I remember this story and I tell them. And for me, the practice of mindful breathing is just like the foundation of all kinds of practices in Plum Village. Either for listening or reflecting or practicing or establish communication or beginning anew or sitting meditation, everything. And it's just like the string. The string relate, connect all the bead and become a rosary. It's just like the string inside in here. Yeah. And the mindful breathing is just like that. It's go through the day. It's go with us all the time. And I want to say this again, that if any of you haven't mastered the practice of mindful breathing, please do not hesitate to come to our long-term lay friends, to come to our aspirants, or any brothers and sisters in the Sangha to share and to ask. I don't really know about this. Please do not hesitate to do it. And this second step of the 3 learnings, we give us quite a lot of opportunity to water the good seeds. Whatever we listen, whatever we learn, we reflect it again with our own experiences. It means that we water the good seed inside, and we keep these good seed in our consciousness. And the third learning is practicing. There are some of us knows quite a lot about the teachings and give very eloquent Dharma talk or very good presentation or sharing. And if we don't really try to practice, then it's not appropriate in the process of the 3 learning that the Buddha taught to strengthen our right view. And I want to say it again. If you see that is there any practices here that you like it, please try to do it. Create exercise to do it. And do not just follow. Asking questions so that we can do it very joyfully and creatively. For example, when you hear a lot from the monastic brothers and sisters sharing about deep listening and loving speech, you should ask them questions. How can I practice this? And where I can start? I don't know where I can start to practice deep listening. And this is a question that I ask myself, that where I can start. And when I play with children, when I share to them the practice of deep listening, I ask them to do the same, and I ask them to listen to the sound of the bell with their hand, either left hand or right hand, and they will pay attention to the hand, close their eyes, and listen to the bell, and just aware of the hand. And some of them also like to move their fingers to just remind themselves that they are listening to the bell. And we can do the same for other kind of practices. And also, if you stay here for 1 week or more than 1 week or 3 months, that thanks to the practice of these 3 learning, we start our practice. We gradually strengthen and deepen our practice, whatever it is. So now we would like to listen to the sound of the bell. And the right view along to the teaching of the teacher Shariputra is also the capacity to distinguish the good seeds and bad seeds, the good roots and bad roots in us. And he just show us the 3 basic seeds, which is good seed, which is the absence of craving. The second is the absence of anger. Third is the absence of violence. And this is craving. It is a root seed in our store consciousness. And when we are able to recognize that is the good seed, then this has a lot of opportunity to come up in our mind consciousness and Plum. And whenever we can be able to recognize and call the name that is a bad seed, we keep it in the store consciousness, and we do not water so that it can sprout and become very big. And this teaching relates a lot to the teaching about selective watering, flower watering of Plum village. This is come from there. This is store. And this is in here. And the practice of water the seed, selective watering, if we know that it is the basis, it is our anger, our suspicion, our sadness, then we try to keep them to stay here as long as possible. Because whenever with the seeds comes up in here, it's become a little bit bigger. This is the first time, and if the second time comes up again, it's become a little bit bigger. And in the story that I told you at the beginning, that because I do not recognize that is the seed of sadness, of suspicion, it's overwhelmed me. That's why it become very big, and it's made me very tired the whole day. And when I be able to recognize that I have the seeds of sadness and suspicion, of fear, as big as this, and because I know that because I was trained to be water the seed of mindfulness, of love, compassion toward my sister, then I make myself I water the seeds of mindfulness by the practice of breathing, of relaxing, and this seed like comes up here and become a flower, and this can come and pray this seed, and we are safe at that time. That there is a second energy to come and praise the first energy is already there on our mind. So this is the practice that we do quite every day. That we always ask to come back to ourselves, to come back to our breathing, just because we want to water the seeds of mindfulness, of being happy, of being calm and joyful. And if there's any bad seeds already in our mind, then these good seeds can be able to come and praise. And this exercise was taught all the time by our teacher about the image of a mother who come and pray tenderly her child when her child suffer because of something. When I remember one time when I was a novice in Lower Hamlet, I was Thai's attendant. And in that summer, there's a lot of rain. And at that time, we have a Dharma talk in Dharma Hall. All the Sangha was fit in that hall at that time. There is about 23 sisters in Lower Hamlet at that time. Then we do quite a lot of work. We cook on that day, and the next day, I remember I cook and being Thai's attendant, and also making tofu and something else I don't remember. And I was so tired. And on that day, there's a mindfulness day in Lower Hamlet, and it will rain a lot. And I was so tired and sleepy. And I followed Thai, came to the hall, and when Thai started to give talk, I was started to sleep. Even I sat in front of him, like, and I was so sleepy. And it started to rain a lot. And I woke up in that atmosphere. And I just suddenly didn't remember where I was. And I felt so sad. And something in here very heavy. And I didn't know why. And I heard Thầy invited the Sangha to listen to the rain. And I listened to the rain, and I recognized that there's something very heavy inside. And I didn't know why, because at first I just felt sleepy and nothing else. And I followed Thai's instruction. Everyone close our eyes and listen to the rain and come back to our breathing. And I see very clearly my sadness and my heaviness. It's in here. And I keep practicing, keep breathing, and Thai's voice and the Sangha's energy at that time was so beautiful. And after a while, Thai stopped talking and asked everyone to listen to the rain for a long time. And after a while, I see the image of my family comes up in me. That I see that in those days, whenever it's rain, there's something not so happy happen in my family. There's one rainy afternoon, my dad passes away when I was just 11. And on that afternoon, I felt so lost because my mom and my grandfather and all my older brothers, they all was very busy to prepare for the funeral. And everyone in the house, just in everywhere, and I don't know where they are. And I was alone in the kitchen because we are about to have dinner. And all the food was on the table already. And I was so hungry and cold and lost. And I stand by the table near to the kitchen. And the image was in me very clearly is the bowl of rice with the chopstick on it. You know what? You know it is? Yeah. In Vietnam, when there's someone passes away, or in the ceremony for the dead people, they put the two bowls of rice together like this, and then they also straight the chopstick on top of it. And that image just comes up in me very strongly. And the second image come up again. That is also in the rainy day. That one, my youngest brother, who had an accident. He ride a motorbike in Vietnam to come home after a working day. And because of it's a heavy rain and it's like quite dark on the countryside, and he was pushed by another motorbike, and all of them was brought to the hospital. And my brother was almost like, I got the news that he was almost die because it was serious accident. And the worry and the sadness was comes up in me. Like at that time, it's very strong. And suddenly I found out that why I always feel sad when it's rain. Whenever it's rain without any reason, I feel very sad inside and very, very heavy. And thanks to the energy of the Sangha in that Dharma talk, and also thanks to the energy of Thay's peace and love and acceptance, I felt that I was a child, was embraced by the loving energy of mother and father and all the family. And from that day, I know the reason why I always feel sad in the rainy day. And it doesn't mean that I can stop being sad when it's rain, but I know where to do it, where to start to transform this sadness, not only for me, but also for my family. And these days when it's rain, I practice to do it for my father, and also my father and my family. And I talk to myself that, dear Daddy, I listen to the rain for you. My father was sick. He cannot walk for like 6-7 years. And my mother was by herself to raise 7 of us. And I don't know how can she do that. She was alone when she was younger than me right now, and have 7 children. And I until now I can understand how difficult she was at that time. And whenever I listen to the rain, there's a lot of rain these days, I do it for my mother and do it for my mother and my brothers. And you see, I didn't have any intention to transform this sadness. Even I didn't know that I have this sadness. I could not be able to call the name why I was so sad. But because this openness is enough, the trust, the faith for the Sangha is enough, that even I sleep in the Dharma talk, I receive Dharma rain. I receive love and compassion from Thai and the Sangha, and I was transformed by that. And Thai always reminds us that do not plastic yourself, do not like prepare a plastic layer in your mind when you listen to the talk. Just open up yourself. Even you sleep in the Dharma talk is better. So after that experience, I wrote Thai's letter and I tell him about this transformation in me, and I vow to him that I will keep continue to transform this sadness. And it is more than 10 years now. I was in Plum Village, maybe the year 2002 or 3. After some years there. And until now, I can say that I'm be able to listen to the rain joyfully for my dad, my mom, and my brothers. Yeah. And the last thing we are going to share with each other is the right view can be taught, in terms of the 4 kinds of nutriments. So it is not only the teaching intellectually, but we can put the practice of right view in our daily life. When we cook or when we eat, we are aware that which food that is good for our body, our mind, and we choose to eat those food. And also we read the contemplations before eating, that we just want to eat in such a way that we nourish our compassion and reduce the suffering of others. That is right view. That is the real and concrete practice that we doing in every day. And when you come here, either by reading Thay's book, or your family made you come here, or your friend invited you to come here, maybe there are some aims in that, right? Some of you come here because you want to know what Plum Village is. Or some of you come here because you really want to practice and you want to learn to live a happy life. And some of you would like to learn some skill to transform our difficulties and suffering. And all of these aims is keep us continue on this path. That is the something that have us to be in touch with the path. And when you already here, you will find out more. And just by the way of staying here, by the way of seeing, experiencing whatever happened to yourself and also to your friends, the nourishing stories, the transformation of your friends or of yourself, or the joy, the happiness that you touch every day. It's deepen our right view about the path. And also the faith in the path is also be deepened by the way that we are here and being together and practicing together the way. So, whatever I share this morning, I just want to make it very shortly, that everything based on our basic practices. We can do everything, but then the practice of mindful breathing, of mindful walking, that is the foundation of everything else. So I want to ask, have we been near a river? Have you been like near a river? Or you see a river? Okay. So visualize that we are sitting on the bank of that river. And we will see the flow of the river pass by. And either that flow of river, the current, bring flowers, leaves, autumn leaves. Just smile to them. Or the flow, the current of the river bring along the branches of the tree, or the dead body of animals. We just aware of that. And what we do is we do not try to jump into the river to catch the flowers, or do not try to run away from the river to avoid the dead body of animals. And we do the same for our mind. And the mindful breathing is a very strong tool for us to keep ourselves being safe on the bank of the river. So I invite everyone to close your eyes and visualize that we are sitting on the bank of the river, watching the flow of the river and seeing what is there in our mind passing by. And really be there with our breathing and smiling. Thank you so much. You see, are you safe on the bank of the river? Any of you jump into the river? It's okay, huh? If you jump into the river, don't worry, get up and climb up again on the bank of the river. So we do all the same in our meditation. And I want to emphasize the key things here is the breathing. Whenever you see that you lose your breathing, do not follow that object of your contemplation anymore. Just release it and come back to yourself. And we do the same for our contemplation for any object. Like when we would like to transform not of suffering. We do the same. First, we establish ourselves with the practice of mindful breathing. When we are safe on the bank of the river, we start to see. We start to look at the whatever it is in the river. And if you see that you forget your breathing, then do not try to do anything more. You will be sink in the river. Please release that object of your contemplation and come back to your breathing again. And this is a process of training. When we do it many times, when we keep coming all the time to the mindful breathing, then our energy of mindfulness will be stronger, and we can be stick on the river. We can be safe on the river longer. At the beginning, we can be on the river safely for 1 minute or 5 minutes. That is wonderful already. For many of us, even we cannot be like sitting on the bank of the river for 1 minute, but it's okay. It means that you should practice more. It means that you should keep coming back to Plum Village more. So thank you so much for being there for me this morning. And thank you, Thai, and thank you, the Sangha, to be there for us. And I just would like to say that my monastic brothers and sisters are not here this morning. I feel less nervous. Do not tell them, huh?